This is Noah. Let's talk about Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. I got bamboozled. I have a tendency not to upload immediately when things happen because in an effort to try to, and this is going to sound rich considering my recent history, in an effort to try to be consistent, I will opt to, instead of posting videos the day that I make them, I will post them days later in advance. Lately I haven't been keeping to that, but that's other business. I made that Virtua Fighter video on Monday it was. I made it like a few days prior to that. And the problem with that was it came across that I was talking about it in the sense of it, the stream was next week, but it was already next week. So how much funnier it seems when in what little time there was between that video and the stream, they decided to jump the gun and reveal the game anyway. So let's do a rundown. Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown was revealed. It is not just a re-release of the game, it is actually a remake of the game using a new engine. It is using the Dragon engine that RGG Studios uses for the Yakuza games. Very cool. Very happy about that. Why is it only on PS4? Now let me just make this clear. I have no qualms about the idea of platform exclusives. I am fine with that. Perfectly fine with that. That is a hot take that some people will get upset about, but I'm fine with that. Although admittedly, if you actually want to make a discussion about that in the comments, I own PC, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. The concept of an exclusive basically is not a problem for me because the only console I'm missing out on doesn't have exclusives. So maybe that's why. A lot of people were ripping this announcement apart because of it only being on PS4. But let's play devil's advocate for a minute. I remember I read one tweet. Somebody said, like a week ago, didn't SEGA just say that multi-plat is the way to go? This seems to contradict that. Well, to be fair, the concept behind, like the deals that were inevitably made to make the game a console exclusive were probably made a while ago. The game is a remake, so it probably has had an amount of development time. As crazy as it sounds, it probably wasn't made in a week. I would partially forgive the outdated nature of making it a platform exclusive, given that SEGA has gone out of their way to denounce such a concept. But it still kind of confuses me, but not for those reasons. I'd make an argument about how it's only on PS4, not next gen, but to be fair, I believe PS5 is capable of playing PS4 games, whether or not all of them, I don't think it can, but, you know, assuming that it can, no big deal, I guess. But it still makes me a little bit upset that it's only on PS4. And this is probably going to sound rich coming as a person who has a PS4. But like, when I was talking about it before, I was excited at the notion of playing Virtua Fighter 5, this new one, potentially on PC. PC is the neutral platform that most of my friend group has. Not all my friends are PS4 players, Switch players, or Xbox players. I'm certainly not an Xbox player. But with this, I was hoping it was going to be on PC. Maybe my expectations were too high. I was hoping it was going to have rollback netcode. We don't know that for sure. But I was hoping for that. I will still buy it. I will still support it. Because I want SEGA to understand that this is a good game to make. Were the financial decisions behind making it exclusive intelligent? Maybe not. Maybe they got a good fat stack of cash for that. But what I've learned in this situation that makes me laugh a little bit are two things. One, a lot of SEGA fans outside of the Yakuza fan base don't seem to like Toshihiro Nagoshi. And the energy that I get from the Puyo Puyo players and the Sonic fans are that they don't like him because he's very uppity and is acting like he's the big boss of everything. But the fun part is that he actually is. And as a Yakuza player, I sort of like fall down at this man's feet and just being like, you can do whatever you want, master. Defile me. Anyway, I don't mean to start beef with people. I like Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 and I'm also a Sonic fan. But there seems to be some misguided blame going towards Toshihiro Nagoshi for the decision that it would be exclusive to PS4 because the Yakuza titles were exclusive for a long time. digress. The other fun part that I thought about, and this is honestly one of the only things about this that has truly made me put a smile on my face, as it were, is that, for those of you who don't know, Virtua Fighter was originally, it was a fighting game back in the day, but Shenmue was originally going to be a Virtua Fighter RPG. It was going to be an adventure game taking place in the world of Virtua Fighter, following probably Akira Yuki, whatever. But eventually it evolved from that to just becoming Shenmue, a standalone title that has nothing to do with it. It explains why Shenmue has very similar fighting sequences to Virtua Fighter. But that being said, it murders me that they are remaking Virtua Fighter 5 with the Dragon Engine, the engine that was created for Yakuza, because in some respect this almost seems like an abolishment of what Shenmue was, because they are preferring to use that of Yakuza, which I have typically referred to as being Shenmue but good. And I know that I'm seeing this through a lens. The lens that is, Shenmue is not as good, and Yakuza is what Shenmue could be, if only they bothered. And I'm fine with that. Shenmue fans can hate me. That is perfectly fine. I'm okay with that, because I have an opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion, and I will not tell you that you can't. We can agree to disagree. But it's still funny. It's still funny. That is not going to be an argument that I will have in sincerity in discussions on if Shenmue is good, or if Yakuza is good, or if any of them, or if either of them is better. I'm not going to legitimately go into one of those arguments and say, well, Virtua Fighter opted to use the engine that made Yakuza in the modern day, so that means Yakuza's better. The response to that could simply be, who the heck plays Virtua Fighter? So anyway, this is Noah. That's Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. If they don't have Ichiban Kasuga as a playable character, wherein he is fully understanding that he's in a video game due to the fact that Virtua Fighter 5 is a playable game in the Yakuza franchise at the arcades, I will be very upset, but I will still buy the game.